Hello everybody and welcome to Duchess Royale, where I share my opinions and receipts on all things really interesting, but with a focus on major talking points. Some housekeeping first though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell so that you know when the next video is out. So let's just dive in. In the January 2024 roundup, I recall saying that if that month was anything to go by, then the Sussexes will be the origin of an epidemic of high blood pressure and hypertension in UK royalists. Fast forward to January 2025, and woo! This month has undoubtedly topped last year's. Meghan stepped out on the first of the month and she has not come to play. Now, if the activities of this January, or should I say Meghan-uary, is anything to go by, then the Sussexes will be putting the big-backed, bleach-blonde, butch-bodied royalist haters into an early grave. So, grab yourself a cup of tea and maybe a biscuit and let's dive in.
She's back. Yeah.
Duchess Meghan returned to Instagram on the 1st of January to the delight of many. Her first video post showed her running barefoot on a beach in loose white clothes with the wind blowing her hair, writing a perfect 2025 in the sand. Who knew that beach running and sand writing would upset the snowflakes and be a topic of discussion for a number of days? Adding more salt to her naysayers' wounds, the video was filmed by her ever-loving husband and hype man, Prince Harry. The video screamed freedom. The video screamed not going back. The video screamed contentment. And of course, this triggered those big gummed royalists who are angered by her existence, but who like to watch her on repeat, like their fans. But the anger is especially as this signals that Meghan is going to be more present in 2025, and now she has a platform where she can talk directly to her audience and also to a new audience. She has built up quite an audience for herself in such a short amount of time, reaching over 1 million followers in just under 24 hours. Now this takes me back to when Harry and Meghan created the Sussex Royal Instagram, essentially separating themselves from Kate and William's Instagram. They did this on the 2nd of April 2019, and they earned themselves a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records for reaching 1 million faster than any other Instagram account in history. They did that in 5 hours and 45 minutes. They knocked off the Pope, who achieved this in 12 hours. But Jennifer Aniston improved on the Sussexes' time by 29 minutes when she created an Instagram account later on that year. Although I have to say that it is speculated that there might have been some palace support with digital purchases with that, and to ensure that Harry and Meghan did not get printed in the 2019 record book, owning that accolade. But speaking of that, the New York Times did write an article where they analysed the suspicious activity on Kate and William's account after Harry and Meghan had that massive follower join up. Yet Kate and William's account had been set up from way back in 2015. But then all of a sudden, somehow it started to grow rapidly and managed to gain more followers than the Sussexes' Guinness Book of World Record making Instagram account. Oh! This was despite Kate and William's account having had their main engagement and most of their rapid growth being with the pictures of Harry and Meghan posted on it when they were still sharing that account. That was except for just one picture of Kate and William's children. So I guess it was heavily suspected that they had used bots to maintain their level of hierarchy and the illusion that they are more popular than the Sussexes. Pathetic. 2nd of January, With Love Meghan trailer drops. On the second day of the year, Meghan dropped the trailer of her new lifestyle and cooking show on her Instagram, and this show is called With Love Meghan. It was a fun, joyful trailer that evidently resonated with a lot of people because the trailer was viewed nearly 47 million times. Of course, this is a good indication that the show is going to do well. And this is a show that is right up Meghan's street and a gift to her fans, especially those who followed her in the days of the TIG, where she had a successful lifestyle website. Now, this show is basically her website in TV form. But for her haters, the release of this trailer was an act of violence against them. You see, over the past year, Meghan and Harry trolls have been comforted by the British media with headlines which include information from a Netflix insider, which is essentially an imaginary person. Now, that person said things like, Meghan and Harry's Netflix deal is on the rocks. Netflix are mad at Meghan. Meghan and Harry's deal on the line if they don't deliver. But here's Netflix saying what they think of Meghan straight from the horse's mouth on X for the world to see. Oh, they said she's literally the best. But I thought the Netflix insider. Never mind. Still, the haters will ignore this and the fact that the trailer alone garnered 47 million views. Being a Meghan hater must be like playing a game of Jenga. The pieces of their warped narrative keep being pulled out from under them, but they still desperately want and need their narrative to stand. So the haters crashed out hard about this trailer, with one hater even whinging about Meghan's trailer from her hospital bed. Now, we have all sorts of excuses as to why Meghan should not release her show. It's out of touch, the price of eggs are high, there are wars going on. It just seems that Meghan should cancel her project, but everybody else, well, we're fine with them, they can continue. Meghan McCain also jumped in to abuse Meghan as per usual, and she got dragged so hard that she had to turn off the comments. And this is usually the way these trolls work. They relish bullying Meghan, but they can't take it when they get pushed back. So they either turn off their comments or they start blocking those who have opposing views. For me, I think that all the noise about the trailer was the realisation of their greatest fear, that Meghan gets to show to the world who she really is. They know she's not going to be 50% of herself, like she was asked to when she was a working royal in order to allow the mediocre royals to shine. Now, she's going to be her authentic self that had anyone that met her speaking highly of her. Even her biggest haters only turned on her when she disengaged from them when she realised they were toxic, like Piers Morgan, because before that he was singing her praises.
I got the impression she was great fun, she was very intelligent, I thought very smart, very charming, very warm, very direct with eye contact. She was a really nice person, and she seemed to me to have a sense about her of being concerned about issues, concerned about the planet, the environment, women's rights. So she's got that campaigning streak too. But I really liked her. I'm just sad I lost her as a friend. It's like Harry. You could have thought of me here, buddy.
They are mad because Meghan gets to take back some control from the British press and to present her true self to the world. Yes, I know the British media are still going to write thousands and thousands of articles how they think the show is boring or a flop, yada yada yada. But at least people will watch for themselves and be able to make up their own minds. Reported 7th of January, Guy passes on. Meghan announced on Instagram the death of her beloved dog, Guy, R.I.P. Guy. She shared a touching video tribute to him, and she accompanied the video with a post that read as follows. In 2015, I adopted a beagle from a dog rescue in Canada. He had been at a kill shelter in Kentucky and given a few days to live. I swooped him up and fell in love. They referred to him as the little guy because he was so small and frail. So I named him Guy, and he was the best guy any girl could have asked for. If you followed me on Instagram back in the day, you saw a lot of him, and on the TIG too. He was with me at Suits when I got engaged and then married, when I became a mom. He was with me for everything, the quiet, the chaos, the calm, the comfort. He endured a terrible accident shortly before I moved to the UK, which had him undergoing surgeries for several months and unable to leave the clinic. Doctors said he would never walk again, but Dr. Noel Fitzpatrick said he could do it. H and I would drive late at night after hours to see Guy as he recovered in Surrey for months on end. I will always be grateful to Noel and his team, the team at Queen West Animal Hospital in TO, our vets now and my friends and community. Thank you for loving him so. Because many of you will now see Guy in this new series, I hope you'll come to understand why I'm so devastated by his loss. I think you may fall a little bit in love too. I've cried too many tears to count, the type of tears that make you get in the shower with the absurd hope that the running water on your face will somehow make you not feel them, or pretend they're not there. But they are, and that's okay too. Thank you for so many years of unconditional love, my sweet Guy. You filled my life in ways you'll never know. As ever, Meghan. The posts and the pictures say it all. Guy meant so much to her and her family, and the tribute ended on such a lovely note, with Meghan and her 3-year-old daughter Lilibet singing a song for Guy.
Yes, we do. We love you, Guy, and we'll be true. When you're not near us, we're blue.
But with any day that ends in Y, it is a day that the media will abuse Meghan, even at her most lowest. It's therefore sadly no surprise that Meghan is not allowed to mourn her dog without the media using it as an opportunity to attack her. At the time of the announcement, With Love Meghan had a week left before it was due to launch. However, royal correspondent and bootlicker and client journalist for Kate and William, Rebecca English, did a post that said, "Did Meghan use the death of her dog to promote her upcoming TV show?" Now, Rebecca English said in the latest episode of the Daily Mail Royal Gossip show that she partakes in, that the Duchess used her social media tribute as a plug for the cookery show, which made her feel uncomfortable. This woman, who for many reasons I think is vile, doesn't know when to
shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck-ups to shut.
Meghan's trailer for her show had already reached 46 million. I think the promo was going pretty well already, Rebecca. Meghan shared the information because she wanted to, and because it would be weird not to share that the dog featured heavily in her show is no longer around. For those who love dogs or own dogs, the love for one's dog cannot be quantified or explained, and even the darkest of hearts would sympathise with someone they don't like losing their treasured pet. This again is something the British media were afraid of though. Meghan losing her dog and showing how her little family unit of Harry, little girl Lilibet and her boy Archie loved Guy. It was so sweet and it was so relatable to so many families who also own pets. The British media want to erase any chance of Meghan being seen as a human being with feelings. They want to stop people sympathising with her, finding common ground with her, and ultimately liking her. It's not her using her dog to promote her show. It's actually the British media using the dog's death to try and incite hate against her as part of the smear campaign. Many people were disgusted with just how low the British media would sink to try and get at Meghan. One user said, "Rebecca English is a disgusting, morally bankrupt, hateful hack. Is there no end to the dehumanisation of Meghan from you bitter, ugly of character, hateful, racist, bigoted humans? You'll not be happy until you destroy her mental health. Hopefully, karma will visit you soon." Another said, "Everyone in the world is allowed to mourn when their best fur friend passes. They are allowed to post tributes and talk about how impactful their pet was to them. Everyone. Except Duchess Meghan. She's not allowed to make anything about herself. She's not allowed to mourn. The media is truly sick." The 9th of January, Kate Middleton has a birthday. Okay, so apparently it was Kate Middleton's birthday on the 9th of January, but like most, not many people cared. Prince William released a photo of Kate where her hands were strategically placed to highlight that she was in fact wearing the engagement ring in order to try and convince the public that she and her colleague William are still very much in love. Now, William accompanied the photo with the following message. To the most incredible wife and mother, the strength you've shown over the last year has been remarkable. George, Charlotte, Louis and I are so proud of you. Happy birthday, Catherine. We love you, W. So that message was shared to Instagram and X. Sure, so in love. But it had been noted that this was seen as a very unusual step from Prince William, who is not used to declaring his love for his colleague Kate on social media. Heck, he's not used to being touched by her and her being touched by him.
Like that, like
that
it's
looks
clear.
like
Like
she's
as soon as
totally
he touches her, that's a clear
That's
move.
a full on. Don't touch me.
If you're, we're holding this age of like Me Too. If that's a reaction of a woman, she doesn't want to be touched.
No.
But expect more of the faux love messages and awkward PDA touching in public to come. If their performance in the Mills and Boons meets Herbal Essence ad production, where he mounted his co-worker inappropriately in front of their kids and tried to eat her neck, is anything to go by, they are going to need a lot more practice on how to act like they like each other without crossing over into awkward choreographed soft porn filmed over a 3-day shoot. All of this, by the way, was to announce that she had stopped her chemotherapy treatment like most people do. Oh, wait. There was also the newfound declaration of love on social media, which is being spun as a narrative that they've fallen more in love with each other since her illness and it's brought them more together, yada, yada, yada. Child, the illness grift is in full effect. What was funny was that the news of Prince William's happy birthday message to his colleague made it into the news cycle as breaking news, because the media are really trying to help push this new Temu Harry and Meghan love story image for them. And some people weren't happy about it.
Finally, we've mentioned before the view that not every breaking news alert sent out by BBC News actually warrants that status, and some felt that this notification sent out this week fell short of the urgency and significance that might be expected. Here's Jules posting on social media. Dear BBC News, as much as I love the royal family, while there are wars going on, political scandals, and California is burning, I don't think a man wishing his wife happy birthday needs to be pushed to me as a breaking news alert. Do you?
Man wishes colleague a happy birthday. Wow. The only thing that made this unique is that after 11 years of marriage, this was William's first public message to Kate in this keeping up with the Sussexes and Meghan is on Instagram as well era. 11th of January, LA wildfires spread. In a strange, devastating turn of events, a bushfire that started on the 7th of January rapidly spread out of control, and by the following week, a large portion of California went up in flames. With LA being Meghan's original home and a place that's very close to her heart, it's no surprise that she and Harry turned up to help in any way that they could. Show up and do good is the mantra that they live by, and that's exactly what they did. They were very, very low-key with it, though. They were handing out water, donating clothes, giving people food, and talking and comforting those that are affected by the fire. But, you guessed it, the British media, catching wind that they were there, swooped in to do their thing and try to stain their acts of kindness, reporting and making headlines based on the trolling comments of Z-list troll posts on X, who were also jumping on the now monetized hate bandwagon. Now, a relevant former Hollywood actor who appeared in Family Ties in the 1980s and who bears a striking resemblance to Gollum from The Lord of the Rings, decided to hate tweet from her basement. This is Justine Bateman, and she said the following. Meghan Markle and Harry are no better than ambulance chasers. What a repulsive photo op they achieved. They are touring the damage. Are they politicians now? They don't live here. They are tourists, disaster tourists. Now, what is repulsive is people like Justine spread hate about people they don't know without any evidence to back up their twisted thoughts. Justine doesn't know Harry and Meghan from Adam. I mean, she didn't even know that Meghan was born and raised in LA, close to where the fire started. Despite them arriving with no fanfare, dressed casually with no makeup, no airs or graces, for her, in her tiny pea brain, it must be a photo op. She didn't complain about Paris Hilton arriving to help and filming her contribution and even uploading that to social media. She didn't complain about Jennifer Garner talking to the media about why she came to help, or John Stamos and his wife being there. It's just Meghan and Harry helping that she had a problem with. Or maybe she is just stuck on the fact that the welfare royals would never do something like this unless it was pre-arranged with cameramen in tow. Here's Kate carrying a box for a baby charity in heels. While Justine furiously typed about how angry she was about two people joining community efforts to help in any way they could, and was also berating the emergency services who she felt wasn't doing it enough, many people were on the ground helping. What is nice is that the mayor of Pasadena expresses gratitude to Prince Harry and Meghan for their contribution and shared that this was certainly not a photo op for them.
They didn't come out here for publicity. They came out here to work, and then we went to visit some of the families in the impacted area and view firsthand some of the impacted area. And then they wanted to go visit the first responders and personally thank them.
Now, it's interesting watching the likes of people like Kelly Osbourne, who also chimed in, and Justin Bateman run to social media to complain about Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan helping, while they sit in their basement on a sofa doing jack all to help. And just to be clear, Prince Harry and Meghan didn't just turn up. They contributed clothing, children's items, and other essential supplies to those affected by the fire. They also opened their home in Montecito, California to friends and loved ones forced to evacuate. The couple were actually working with staff from their Archwell Foundation to identify the most effective ways to support the community, and donations had been made to the relief efforts through that foundation. Meghan also visited, donated to and volunteered at the Altadena Girls, which is an inspiring charity launched by a 14-year-old girl called Avery, dedicated to helping those impacted by the Eaton fire. So, while Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan were busy helping, Z-lister Justine got the attention she was looking for because she was dragged on social media for the filth. Let me show you. This user said, "What are you doing to help fire victims, Justine? Meghan is from LA. They've opened their home to friends. Are you also going to post a hate tweet about Jen Garner helping? I hate them helping, says you. This isn't a good look." Then we have this user which said, "Meghan and Harry are much better than me because I will tell you to kiss my ass and SMDFTB. If you don't know, Google it. Because lady, what have you done besides offer thoughts and prayers? At least these two are out on the streets doing some tangible work for these families." So the next one said, "Oh look, someone trying to cash in on the Meghan Markle hate train because her career is in the toilet." And we had this one here that says, "So Harry and Meghan concerning themselves about fire victims to see how they can help repulses you. Harry and Meghan are the most photographed and recognised couple in the world, so they're not in any need of a photo op or publicity. Put your MAGA attitude in check." And then there was this one that said, "When I see you post the same sentiment about Jennifer Garner and Sharon Stone for daring to pitch in and help, then I'll accept this BS take. Otherwise, STFU, and let's see you with boots on the ground." This one just got straight to the point with what sane people are feeling. "I rebuke you, Satan." Now, remember that Meghan McCain had previously shared that she felt that Meghan's upcoming new show was tone deaf, and that if it was her, she would do something to help people, like bring fresh food to those in need. Well, that's kind of what Meghan did during the fires and more. But I don't recall hearing or seeing Meghan McCain with her big back and unwashed legs volunteering to help victims of the LA fires. Anyway, what I love is that Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan are unapologetically themselves. They know that no matter what they do, they will be criticised. And in a sense, that must be freeing because there's absolutely no need to perform for these people who only want to find a negative in what they do. So they may as well just be free and their authentic selves. Now, being her authentic self is something royalists, the royals, and the media are so scared of that they have to try and find a way to make it look like Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan's genuine act of kindness is fake. You know, the problem is that the more that the royals and their media goons obsess and overanalyze these little acts or big acts of kindness, the more it becomes apparent to people that weren't really paying attention in the first place that there is a smear campaign against the couple and that the calls are coming from the palace. 12th of January, Meghan postpones With Love Meghan. On the 12th of January, Duchess Meghan released a statement to let people know that she was delaying her show, with the new date being the 4th of March. She said, "I'm thankful to my partners at Netflix for supporting me in delaying the launch as we focus on the needs of those impacted by the wildfires in my home state of California." Now, when the fire started, there were bad faith actors calling for Duchess Meghan to postpone the show because it would apparently look bad in light of people losing their homes and livelihoods in the LA fires. Fair enough. But Meghan did postpone, but not because these cretins told her to, but because that's who she is. Just like when she chose to delay her Archetype podcast because of the Queen's death and her variety cover too. However, you can guess, the same people that were calling for her to delay her show were then angry that she actually did delay her show. Make it make sense. 14th of January, Duchess Doolittle's first engagement. Surprise, surprise, the laziest royal who only did 4 engagements the previous year decided that she was well enough to do her first engagement of this year, which coincidentally was a day before Duchess Meghan's show was supposed to drop on Netflix. Now, it was apparently a surprise visit where she arrived with cameramen and photographers to thank the Royal Marsden staff for looking after her as she said she received her royal cancer treatment at this hospital. She also spoke to patients that were undergoing cancer treatment there too.
What she's gone through clearly extends to her family too, with a new concern for those who have to step up and support.
It's been tough, really, really tough. Lots of family members. That's kind of, we're just trying to do the best. There's no money.
Yes, I recall how hard it was on William, who also struggled to work for the past year, but did manage to attend various football games. And here he's letting his hair down on his last remaining follicle at the Taylor Swift concert.
The announcement that she's also going to be joint patron here along with Prince William shows this isn't just a fleeting thank you, but that raising awareness of cancer is something she intends to do in the long run with her very high-profile role.
I think the funny thing about this clip is that the public knows nothing about Kate's treatment for this undisclosed cancer. It's all been kept very private, so it's all well and good becoming a patron for the hospital, but how do you genuinely become an advocate and raise awareness of cancer when you, for some reason, won't even share what your diagnosis is? But you will share that you apparently had it, that you've been treated for it, and that you're in remission for it. Now, back in 2008, there was a UK reality star called Jade Goody, and she shared that she had cervical cancer and even documented her cancer journey. Now, she sadly died the following year, but her openness and therefore her legacy about her diagnosis led to a surge of women attending cervical screening by 500,000. Now, that was known as the Jade Goody effect. So, with Kate keeping her royal cancer to herself under lock and key, and there being over 200 types of cancers with different characteristics and treatments, makes it seem like it's a taboo subject. that it's something she's ashamed of, or, as people have speculated, maybe something that she doesn't even have, or that the wrong impression has been given on, such as it's actually been a removal of precancerous cells. Anyway, the advice that she gave to the patients at the hospital she met that day was to get lots of sunlight and drink loads of water. That's very suspect and didn't help with the perception some have that she's probably never had full-blown cancer. Social media users who have experienced cancer or had a loved one undergoing treatment called this out as ridiculous advice, noting that chemotherapy can increase sensitivity to the sun and you're actually advised to stay clear of the sun. So one user said, "All the medications that my daughter is on while treating her leukemia says the exact opposite of this. If you are battling cancer, please don't take advice from this fraud. Loads of sunlight will literally burn you because most chemo drugs and antibiotics cause sun sensitivity." Now, another user said, "Every cancer patient I know, including my sister, were advised to stay out of sunlight in case of adverse effects to their treatment. This is disgusting that cancer charities will allow this misinformation to go unchallenged. People will try and copy this ridiculous statement." Another user declared, with someone else pointing out, that Catherine's PR team must have forgot to advise her accordingly. Well, it seems like Kate's royal cancer is very different to other people's based on what seems to be her dangerous advice. It's not clear what's going on with Kate or the cancer that she claims to have had, but what is clear, if basic logic is applied, is that this engagement to the Royal Marsden for the big Kate cancer I'm in remission story was scheduled the day before Duchess Meghan's show as PR hijacking in order to grab the headlines and attention away from Meghan's show, or otherwise to ride on the press coverage that Meghan's show would generate. This was something that William did, trying to piggyback off the coverage of Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan when they went to Nigeria on tour while he was in Cornwall doing an engagement. Now, as Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan shared in the Netflix documentary, the royals are obsessed about getting headlines. Kate and her team had most likely planned this engagement at the start of January when it was revealed that With Love Meghan would drop. But no one could foresee the LA fires of Meghan's hometown and that this would make her postpone the show. Duchess Meghan actually announced the postponement of her show on the Sunday, the 12th of January, but it was in the evening UK time, and with only a day left before the engagement, this would have meant that it would have been too late for Kate and her team to cancel this engagement. When the only hard work they do is to try and steal the spotlight from Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan, that's when you realise how irrelevant the British monarchy are becoming, especially when it's led by truly pathetic and boring individuals. 15th of January, William goes to work. Kate and William barely manage 3 engagements in a month, let alone a week. So when they do have 3 planned in their diary on one particular week, then it's most likely that Prince Harry and Meghan are doing something big that week. So this week in January was the most work Kate and William have done for a long time, and it included William's first engagement of the year, which, surprise, landed on the day of Meghan's show, when it was supposed to have been dropped. So, on the 15th of January, William paid a visit to the College of Paramedics in Birmingham for its inaugural Emergency and Critical Care Conference. And on his way home, he stopped by a pub in London to surprise and hang out with some fellow Aston Villa football fans. Nothing to see here. 16th of January, no-fly zone. Now, in order to compete with the With Love Meghan British monarch engagement sandwich, where Kate does an engagement right before Meghan's show and William does it on the day of it, the third engagement from the Waleses was the day after Meghan's show. William was supposed to visit the Army Air Corps on the 16th of January, and Cameron Walker, who is a GB News royal correspondent, shared details of the engagement due to take place that day. So it said, new. The Prince of Wales will arrive in style for his first solo engagement as Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps next Thursday, arriving at a place conveniently called Wattisham Flying Centre via a Wildcat helicopter. He will meet personnel and watch them take part in fitness training. But lo and behold, after it was revealed that With Love Meghan was postponed, William cancelled this Army Air Corps engagement at the 11th hour, citing poor weather as a reason, which is interesting because there were reports that the weather was actually fine. It's almost as if this engagement was just for his good PR and not for the supposed purpose of royal engagements, which is to showcase the organisation and to provide awareness for it, not for William to play the role of Top Gun like a movie star. Surely Prince William flying in on a helicopter was not necessary and shouldn't mean that the whole event must be cancelled when the rest of the engagement was taking place on the ground. Well, it looks like it did mean this, and maybe he's saving this for the next time Prince Harry announced something big. 21st of January, Prince Harry 1, Murdoch 0. Tuesday the 21st of January marks the first day of the long-awaited, highly anticipated court case between Prince Harry and Murdoch NGN, publishers of The Sun. Now, after years of legal wranglings, this case had finally made it to court. Now, let me tell you, the enormity of Prince Harry getting The Sun to trial cannot be understated, as many have tried and have failed because of the extremely high costs that the plaintiff would face, even if they won the case. So therefore, Murdoch has been able to get away with paying people off without owning up to criminal activity that his company has done over the years. But then came along Harry, Prince Harry, letting Murdoch know that he is not the one or the two to be played with. Now, although it would have been such a fascinating trial, which likely would have exposed so much about Murdoch's nefarious information gathering on Harry, and also his very likely collusion with the royal family, it was over before it even started, as Murdoch, who was very cocky pre-trial, was now willing to give Prince Harry the apology he asked for. In fact, it seemed like he was begging to do this, and it was like his team was like, stop the trial, time out, time out. So, in the end, while the media tried to frame it as Harry settling, Prince Harry walked away from the trial with all his costs paid, some extra millions in his pocket as damages, which were undisclosed but said to be 8 digits. And this was based on the admission of guilt, which was Harry's main goal. This was most importantly a grovelling apology, not just from Murdoch to him, but to his mama too.
News Group newspapers offered Harry a, quote, full and unequivocal apology for hacking his cell phone and intruding into his personal life for articles published between 1996 and 2011, acknowledging unlawful conduct by private investigators. There was also an apology for past intrusions into the personal life of Harry's mother, Princess Diana. This is the first time the Murdoch-owned Sun newspaper has admitted any wrongdoing in a legal ordeal that has gone on for years and has already cost the company over $1 billion in payouts and legal fees.
Prince Harry could have easily taken a measly $1 million in comparison, hush settlement, like his brother Prince William quite sneakily did in private. But instead he fought for justice. He fought for all those who had been wronged by the press, himself and his beloved mother. He wanted it to be known that unlike William calling her paranoid,
to her fear, paranoia,
she was far from this, just as he said in this interview here.
Tabloid press very much enjoy painting her as being paranoid. But she wasn't paranoid. She was absolutely right of what was happening to her. And she's not around today to find out the truth.
This apology from The Sun really is the vindication for Diana that she never got when she was alive. So respect to Harry for that. Seeing how desperate Murdoch was to halt the proceedings, the petty in me would have requested Murdoch himself record the apology in a clown suit. And perhaps I put it on social media in case it went viral. And I would have also asked him to throw in some Skittles and a packet of fruit gum strawberry bubblicious, just because. Now, the naysayers, of course, and the Harry haters who struggle with basic common sense were trying to say that Harry took an L because his case didn't go all the way through to trial. One of these doofuses is quote-unquote journalist Carol Malone, who said the following. What happened to the man who boasted this fight with the media was about truth and accountability, who said his mission in life was to slay the dragon of the evil tabloids? So what did he do? He settled and took their money. Now, for those with a pea brain like Carol, I'm going to say this very slowly. Harry was taking NGN to court in order to prove that they did criminal shit and to hold them accountable. Now, if NGN say before the trial starts, you're right, we did do criminal shit, and they apologise, then what would the trial be about? Let that marinate. What you need to understand is that Prince Harry made history, and he slayed the dragon like he said he would. 17th of January, Vanity Unfair. Another day, another publication trying to take the Teflon Dons, Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan down. Now this time around it was Vanity Fair, a magazine that has always remained fairly balanced on them. However, in this new age of hate selling and following Meghan declining an interview with them, this article released on the 17th of January seemingly was timed to serve to drown out any positive perception of Meghan from With Love Meghan, which was originally supposed to drop on the 15th, as you know. Now, it was essentially a hit piece. This article would have gone to print before Meghan postponed the show, which means they couldn't reschedule the hit piece in time for the new release date in March, if it was going to print. Now, it feels very much like the calls for this article to drop were commissioned by the palace or the royal establishment. I just wouldn't put it past them. The writer supposedly spoke to people who have worked with and lived alongside the couple, discussing their close relationship, the obstacles to bringing their various ventures to life, and how their break from the monarchy has shaped the road they've chosen. Firstly, I don't think anyone that close to Prince Harry and Meghan would speak to a publication about them and remain anonymous. Anything they say would be with their full chest and name. Surprisingly, the sources were secret, which therefore means malicious or non-existent, or otherwise people that hadn't met the couple but had commentary to add. Former staff, even with their anonymity, were still very vague in explaining the gripes that they had against them. From what can be deciphered, a lot of the gripes seem to be about Prince Harry and Meghan being the boss. One complaint was that Prince Harry and Meghan didn't take advice from staff, such as on ideas for what kind of podcast they should do. Now, I didn't realise that it was a requirement for them as business owners and the talent to take up ideas that they weren't quite feeling. There was also a discussion about Meghan not shouting or not screaming, and the source saying that this doesn't mean that she didn't speak at them in a way that it felt like she was shouting or screaming. That is a reach. It just seems so obvious that these were people that were probably paid to come up with something that looked like Prince Harry and Meghan were bad bosses, and they struggled to lie convincingly. There was also this random line dropped in about staff member ending up in long-term therapy, but no explanation as to what could possibly have been done to that person for them to need therapy in that way. It all just sounds so fake dramatic. So there were ridiculous claims made and nothing really to back it up. That includes Meghan shopping around a post-divorce book, which is no surprise since for some weird reason, the media like to push this narrative that Harry and Meghan are on the rocks to break up that whole fairy tale romance that we've known them to have. But that was also inconsistent with a key hot take from the whole hit piece, which is that staff confirmed that Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan are hot for each other and are very affectionate. So the narratives are all over the place. Look, this is about as much energy that I'm going to give to this nonsense for the time being. But I can say it was welcome meat for the Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan naysayers who were jubilating about this badly written hit piece. And it feels like these type of articles only serve as therapy tool for the naysayers who've been going through it since the start of the year, or rather since 2020, when Harry and Meghan dared to say no to the abuse and stepped away from the monarchy. Now, it's unfortunate that these hit pieces keep popping up everywhere, but this piece is tomorrow's chip paper, and they don't really have the same power that they might have had in the past, because there's literally no substance to them, as that's always been the case. There's no detail, there's no names, there's no meat, it's corn. So for supporters or those indifferent, it just really exposes the media's obsession to really try and take these people down as part of a smear campaign. In rejoicing about the piece, even the naysayers unwittingly reveal that even they know that the articles are most likely commissioned by the palace. This donut wrote about her happiness that the article was released, but then went on to give her take on the matter, saying, "The palace want Prince Harry back because it's a hit piece on Meghan Markle." She goes on to say that Meghan is about to find out how far the king's reach is in the US. There is no doubt in my mind that this was a coordinated hit piece with Buckingham Palace, or with the palace staff somehow. Now, if haters can see it's merely a hit piece, supporters can see it's a hit piece, then other people probably can too, or just ignore it. 29th of January, it's reported Beatrice has a baby. Right, some royal baby news now.
Princess Beatrice has given birth to a daughter several weeks prematurely, with the royal baby said to be healthy and doing well. They've named the baby Athena.
So that's lovely. But I think it's amazing that there was no outrage that the announcement of baby Athena, Elizabeth Rose Mapelli Mozzie, a girl who was born on the 22nd of January, was a week late, because actually the announcement of the birth was not until the 29th. I actually think Athena is such a pretty name. And since Beatrice and her husband clearly wanted the child's face to remain private, it's lucky that there were no demands on the couple to show the face to the public. Now, if you remember, these demands were only hurled Meghan and Harry's way by royalist weirdos who felt that it was their right to see Archie and Lilibet's face. Many of these people need their hard drive checked. But let's not forget Meghan's revelation in the Oprah Winfrey interview that the royal family were trying to work out how to ensure that Archie and any child that they had would not become prince and princess when they were entitled to have this when Charles became king, and that they wouldn't have security.
He won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
So the institution let them have all the stress and criticism for not parading their child for the monarchy's behalf to the public, when on the other hand, they didn't plan to give protection to their children as public workhorses for the monarchy. That is what you call institutional abuse. 27th of January, Holocaust Memorial Day. Holocaust Memorial Day. Now, the leftover royals were out in force PRing in commemoration of the Holocaust Memorial Day and the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Even though King Charles was invited to Montecito, California to attend his granddaughter Princess Lilibet Diana's christening, but failed to, he happily travelled to Poland for this memorial. So this was the first international trip of the year for him. Once there, he visited the Jewish Community Centre in Krakow, which he actually opened in 2008. Delivering a speech, he said something which made a lot of sense. I just wish that he had a smidgen of self-awareness.
The depths to which humanity can sink when evil is allowed to flourish.
The depths to which humanity can sink when evil is allowed to flourish. What? Like meeting a teenager at your big age of 30 when she was 19, marrying her just so that she could be a baby machine for you while you mess around with your mistress that some would say bears an uncanny resemblance to a goat. Like claiming you are unable to fulfill a royal tradition to pay for your son's wife while she slaved away working for the crown because you apparently don't have enough money, only to later drop 3 million of property that is next to the property owned by the very person people say resembles a goat that you're married to. Purchasing the property for the sole reason of ensuring that no one else gets it, so that said goat has more privacy. Saying that you have no money to fund the biracial princess only to be exposed as a slum landlord, and the charities that you are supposed to be helping and promoting, you're charging extortionate rent to use your unkept stolen property. Evil like shrugging when your son appealed to you for help as he was worried about the press abuse and the effect it was having on the mental health of him and his wife. But deadbeat dad did nothing because deadbeat dad was briefing the papers, working with the papers to damage his daughter-in-law's mental health. Evil is like when he put his son and his grandson in harm's way by withdrawing his son's essential security when they fled to Canada. Like when you took back the property gifted to your son, betraying your own mother, the actual queen, as a punishment for your son exposing your evils and the truth about the Dusty family in his memoir Spare. Then going around town saying you love Harry and Meghan and you want to spend time with the grandchildren you were invited to see but you didn't go and visit. Like doing all these things because his son and his son's wife were simply better than him in every way possible, better than the man considered born into the role. Look, if there is one place where evil is allowed to flourish, the House of Windsor marks the spot. But I digress. In this trip to Poland, King Charles attended a commemoration event with Holocaust survivors, world leaders and other European royals like King Frederick and Queen Marie from Denmark. But I don't think I saw much coverage on this, especially as this was his first trip abroad this year when you'd expect to see him on the front pages as the monarch. Maybe because a lot of the focus was on the event that Kate and William attended, but even then, Kate took the headlines and her co-worker William didn't feature in much of the press for the event at all. And this was despite delivering a speech and telling a story about his great-grandmother, Princess Alice of Battenberg, who apparently sheltered a Jewish widow and some of her children in Athens, protecting them from deportation to the death camps. 31st of January, Kerry Washington's birthday bash. Meghan celebrates Kerry Washington's birthday with Jessica Alba. So, on Friday, the 31st of January, the beautiful Kerry Washington turned 48, and to ring in another year round the sun, she had an intimate celebration with some of her besties. Jessica Alba threw Kerry a new moon ceremony birthday bash in what was probably Jessica's home, but don't quote me on that. Jessica put up a reel onto social media showing parts of the celebration, and eagle-eyed fans spotted Meghan's dainty wrist and jewellery, and some spotted her from a brief glimpse of her when Jessica was bringing out the birthday donuts. Now, I recall when Denise Richards turned 52, and this was the headline. Denise Richards celebrates 52nd birthday near Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's home. Now, this just shows you the power and the obsession that the media have with Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan, that a birthday celebrant would only be reported on because of their proximity to Harry and Meghan's dwellings. So, I suspect that Duchess Meghan, knowing that the media would start writing essays and think pieces about her presence at the party, and decided to take a low profile and probably opted not to be in the social media posts that the guests put on the gram and elsewhere in order to ensure that Kerry shined on her special day. But lo and behold, the glimpse of Meghan was enough for the papers to get a few articles in. But what's funny is that they reported that Meghan was a surprise guest. Yeah. And that was in order to give the impression that she's the odd one out and an acquaintance rather than a friend. There's a subtle choice of words that are deliberate to lean into their narrative. And this is that they don't want people to legitimately believe that she is part of a legitimate friendship group. Now, I've spoken before about Meghan having friends messing with the media narrative, that Meghan is unrelatable, that she's a bully and that Hollywood is turning their back on her, which is why They referenced the Vanity Fair article from earlier in the month in the same article about Meghan being at Kerry's birthday. And in fact, most of the media is doing that to direct people to that article. Duchess Meghan being pictured with Hollywood A-listers and having girls' nights in also provides a stark contrast to Kate Middleton, who the media have propped up and sanctified. Now, we've seen Kate copy hairstyles of Meghan, her clothes and her mannerisms, all the hugging that she's doing, but she hasn't been able to copy having friends. And that's just because she is Billy No Mates, and it would be really hard to suddenly manufacture or hire people to play the role like William does awkwardly with bootlicker David Beckham, when for the last 20 years she's never really been seen with friends other than her sister, and once or twice with that woman called Rose Hambury, rumoured to be William's side piece. But you know, stranger things have happened. Anyway, that's it for this roundup of January 2025. I do hope you've liked it. If you like the video, please do click the like button. Buy me a coffee if you really want to, I don't mind. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is out. Drop a comment, I do read them. And until the next one, as ever, with love, Duchess Royale, peace and I'm out.